degrees out, and there's every male running out there without a shirt on.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's warm.
Running by the hills of snow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's just an indictment of our situation of how the weather is around here. I know Mr. Marley is in the parking lot, and he will be here shortly.
So how's your trip? Good. There's some good time for
Did you go? You went to? Oh, okay.
Happiest place?
Last week was her spring.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So that's why
Good
I
for you.
this Thursday.
That's fine. That's a great place to.
That is
You were there Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Some of them are going to get it.
Oh, you were Disney World. Over the Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
I've never. I
just went there.
That's why you're
That's not Disney. Yeah.
all the germs also.
I know.
I think that's airlines will let you sit pizza next to me. There's one guy just off and you let me over his stairs. He's sitting right next to me.
That'll do it.
I'm in the I need a mask or something. So, everyone, this is Dylan from the Journal Courier, our new education.
Hi, Dylan.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Big vehicles and
We'll be starting here very shortly.
so
You keep saying.
Still no word from that.
reconstruct with the,
No, but Brad's in the park. He's on his phone call, so this is something that's be up.
and maybe a little,
He's got that. Yep, there he is. Right here. So we'll go ahead.
detail and work out.
Hello there. How are you?
And then you saw
We saw you out there. We're scoping out. And we made Diane may be here as well. So we're anticipating she will be. But we are going to get started as soon as you tell me if we can.
Oh, you can go.
Okay.
You can launch.
All right. We are going to call. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were ready. You were born ready, so you're ready. Call to order the Board of West Lafayette Community School Corporation regular meeting, Wednesday, March 11th, 2015. We could be doing this outside, but we're not. Approval. We need an approval of the revised agenda for the March 15th, 2015 regular meeting. Moved by Dr. Springer, second by Mrs. Witt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. I say aye as well. Approval of the minutes of the February 11, 2015 meeting. Need a motion, please. Moved by Dr. Springer.
Second.
Second by
Right out loud.
Come on, get in the cycle
Got
here.
Mr. Marley.
Not even stretched out yet.
Discussion, any changes? I didn't find any. So. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Okay, opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Communication from the audience, current agenda items, and Zach, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Zachary Bale, 124 Connolly Street. Two items, the facilities presentation discussion. As a former member of that facilities strategic plan committee and a continuing taxpayer member of this community, I'm deeply interested, obviously, in what the West Lafayette Community School Corporation takes and the steps it takes in the coming days, weeks, months, and years regarding its facilities and beyond. The future of our community depends upon it. I stress the community aspect of West Lafayette Community School Corporation. Hope that a proactive, transparent approach is the continued goal throughout this and other processes of our public school. I noticed on the blog spot that used to be for the facility strategic plan hasn't been updated since November. We're fast approaching the October 2013's Facility Strategic Planning Committee's outline to have a June 2015 review and finalize the data and specify recommendations. I assume we'll hear a little bit more about that tonight. The remainder of 2015 and 2016 is to fine-tune this data, create planning sessions, educating the community. The community requires, as I'm sure you're aware, information to be kept abreast of these developments as they are happening, to be involved in this process deeply and meaningfully, and to have West Lafayette School Corporation, Community School Corporation, live out its stated beliefs of public education's purpose to develop a proactive, educated citizen. And number 11, accountability is critical to the success of our school corporation. Number 2, the junior senior parking lot. Again, I was unable to find more information about that before the meeting online. but I assume that will be presented here before us today. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to new business and Dr. Killian, academic achievement DOE metrics.
In the coming weeks, the annual school report will come out from the Department of Education. It's embargoed right now, but will be released March 18th. I can tell you that our school district graduation rate is 98.5%, and then there's lots of other data sets in there that will be coming out. As you know, we're in the throes of ISTEP, and the constant thing that I'm hearing not only here in West Lafayette but throughout the state, our kids are coming home very frustrated because they're taking assessments that with information they've never seen before. And that's very frustrating for the students, very frustrating for the teachers. And as we predicted a year and a half ago, as the state was looking at redoing the standards and not giving the schools enough time to reset, this is where we find ourselves. So I said yesterday, no, I said this morning in a meeting that I will be very surprised if we reach a 70% success rate on the new ISTEP. I will be pleasantly surprised. It's just crazy that we have kids taking tests longer than it takes to take the bar exam. No offense, Kevin. And then they're taking a test where there's information that they have never seen. And Kim shared an example where one student just shut down, a very bright third grader, and just shut down because of the frustration of it all. So I applaud our teachers, I applaud our administrators, I applaud our students for muddling through this, and I hope that we keep our eye on what's important in education. It's critical thinking and innovation, divergent thinking, and it's not based on standardized tests.
Okay.
So there's my spiel.
Okay. Questions? Anybody? Comments?
I will just tell you that I am living with a third grader who just completed her 6th day of testing, and your administrators are accurately reflecting to you what I'm experiencing in my own home. It's not been a good time. It's not even kind of been a good time.
Oh, it's terrible. You know, and the people making us do this, you know, I know that there's sometimes fingers pointed at school districts, but my favorite quote is from Tough Choices, Tough Times, the problem that we have in public education isn't with the people in education, it's the people making the laws. And those who have the power aren't being held responsible, and those who are being held responsible have no power over it. And until we change that governance model, public education is going to continue to suffer at the whims of the people making these crazy laws and forcing our kids to do this.
The teaching, I can't speak highly enough of them. They've done a great job. They really have. Communication is one excellent.
Okay. Anything else? We'll move on. Anything else, Doctor?
Nope.
Okay. We'll move on to the academic achievements facilities presentation discussion.
Our point team met this morning, and we have a point team of administrators. Karen's on that as well. Tom Neff from KJG, Tom Neff from Smith & Associates, Jovan from KJG, Larry Lefty, our administrators, and we've been trying to figure out where we are with the data sets and getting quality information to our community. So this morning we thought it would be best if we delayed our facilities presentation until August and do a facilities presentation to the board August 19th. And then at that point we would introduce the community forum timeline, and then in the fall our teams at the schools, our staff, our administrators would work with our architects to start putting together the formal plans for each of the buildings. And so what we're looking at, if all of you are comfortable with it, is the idea that we would start that process August 19th, and we would hold a work session, and KJG, Smith & Associates, myself, and probably Dr. Eiler, if he's available, we will present what the facilities group have come up with thus far, and give the data to the board as well as the community who might be in attendance. And then we would establish community forums throughout 2015-16 to have some discussions.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Just the reason, because we originally talked about just giving us enough time to get it together the way you want to.
We think one, we want teachers here, and so if we did it in June, one of the concerns was teachers might not be readily available, and if we did it in August, they're back. So we have that going on. And it's at the beginning of a school year as opposed at the end of a school year in summer and activities dispersing everyone. So we think, and as Zach said and what he said to the board, we think that quality communication, it would be better served doing it at the beginning of the school year when everyone's back. And it gives more transparency.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Dr. Killian. Junior, senior high school parking lots.
Yeah. Jovan, come up and we will hopefully finalize the final plan. And we did look at additional parking for your suggestion, Brad, and I think there were a couple of issues.
I have a handout too.
Okay.
I'll pass those around.
Thank you.
And these will be yours to keep because this will be the one you're voting on.
At the last meeting, one of the discussion items was investigating opportunities for additional parking on that east drop-off drive at the high school. The first, what you have is a sketch of our recommendation, but I'd like to take a step back and describe what we looked at in addition to our recommendation. The first thing we looked at was shifting the entire driveway to the east. Now there's a couple of hurdles to be accomplished if we take that approach, and the purpose of shifting it to the east about 15 foot would be to allow parking on both sides.
Yeah.
There's about a 3 to 4 foot steep bank immediately east of the east curb that currently exists. There's actually some erosion issues with that bank currently. There's some ad hoc retainage there with some concrete block and metal T-post. To move that farther, we're only exacerbating that grading challenge there. So that's one issue. That can be accomplished with a retaining wall. It's certainly, engineers do that every day. It's just additional cost to the project. However, there's an administrative hurdle also. This property is zoned to R1, and I did some due diligence research of our zoning ordinance, and parking is prohibited in the front setback of an R1 zone. So to move that 15 foot, we'd be encroaching in that front setback of the R1 zone, and so we'd have to go to BZA and seek a variance to accomplish that. Again, a hurdle that can be overcome, but a hurdle nonetheless. So then I looked at other opportunities to provide additional parking in this area. And the graphic in front of you shows an opportunity to create 9 additional parking spaces on the west side of the drive as it currently exists. Obviously, we'd have to remove the sidewalk in this area and depress it down to pavement grade. So the sidewalk would be depressed. There'd be a low, just a gutter there to manage stormwater. And probably some pavement marking to clearly delineate the sidewalk zone from the parking zone from the drop-off zone. But again, you accomplish 9 spots. Another thing I did notice, currently there is an ADA ramp here at this access point, but if you cross the street, there is no ADA ramp on this side here. So as part of this project, we'd recommend putting a curb ramp essentially on that little tail of an island that sticks out at the south end of the lot there. And that could easily be accomplished as part of this project. Now, this approach, there's a couple of other challenges. There's a couple light fixtures in the way. I've attached some pictures on the following pages so you can get a feel for what's currently in this area, improvement-wise. There's some concrete that appears to have been put in there for some bike racks. There's the two light fixtures that would have to be relocated, and obviously the reconstruction of the sidewalk through that area, and some trees removed. It would be problematic to put those trees back in the small space that would exist after construction between the new parking spaces and the retaining wall associated with the ramps up to the stage service door. So this is a way to provide 9 additional spaces in this area at a fairly modest cost. Now, the other, I guess, concern or, I guess, challenge is that when buses are staged here to pick up students, you wouldn't be able to get it in and out of those parking spaces, obviously. So there would be a time when those spaces would be blocked. It would not be throughout most of the day, but there would be periods during the day, especially in the morning and evening, drop-off times when those spaces would not be serviceable. Any questions? Comments?
Do you have any talk about the safety issue if you were to put cars there and then people walking behind them?
That is an issue. Obviously, we're creating a parking situation that immediately crosses a pedestrian zone. Normally, you want the pedestrian zone on the other side of the parking spaces, but in order to maintain a continuous drop-off circulation pattern through the area, this would be the recommended configuration. But point well taken. There would be people using those spots would have to be diligent and careful about checking before backing up, especially when students are frequenting the area.
So how much you think per spot? I mean, you're talking 5,000 parking or 10 or roughly?
I'd guess about 8 to 10
Yeah.
per spot, including all the relocations
Right.
and removals and reconstruction.
Lefty, was the junior senior high school administration in favor of adding those 9 spaces in front?
Adding these spots,
Yeah.
they haven't seen, that was a late addition. One of the things that we talked about that might, I think this is an option to keep down the road until we figure out for sure down the road if we're going to do anything different with the auditorium.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that have been discussed as part of the long-range planning and some other things that have come up in some conversations after that there might be a change in the way that you enter the auditorium, and that would be on this side of the building. So it's something that's a possibility down the road, depending upon what it is, what finally shakes out with that. But the other, I can't remember the term, but the other thing that was talked about, it's not parallel, it's not perpendicular, it's not angle parking, but there's a fourth term that I can't remember right now. That, you can't do that. In other words, like have cars nose to nose because of the buses. This is where our buses drop off and pick up. So we would have, I don't know, are you passing out that other picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other moves parking up. Part of the big thing that one of the things that sparked this was that junior senior high administration was wanting to get visitor parking closer to what is now the main entrance, door number 2. And so with the new setup, that would move parking places up there, and down the road, depending upon what does happen, you would have this option for adding 9 additional spaces, because obviously parking is included
So what Bob's referring to is the base plan of the driveway entrance relocation. This provides 10 additional parking spaces above and beyond what currently exists in this area on the east side of the site. What you see here is similar geometrically to what was presented last month conceptually. As you can see, we've received a survey. The survey is still preliminary, although I did touch base with the surveyor yesterday and promised that the final survey would be in my hands tomorrow. But I have enough information to move ahead with design currently, as you can see. There are a couple of design issues that were discussed briefly last month, and I'd like to touch on them again. The first design issue is the question of whether the steps that currently exist immediately in front of the entry canopy could be eliminated. There's 2 sets of stairs there now. There's 4 steps in front of the entrance canopy, and then you go out about 15 feet and there's another set of 4 steps. That second set of 4 steps would be in the traveled lane of the new drive, so obviously those are going to have to be removed. I took a look at the grading opportunities and challenges for this area, and it's my conclusion that the steps immediately in front of the entrance canopy will have to remain. And the reason is we're going to create a flat zone there, similar to what you have in front of the Commons entrance. The driveway slopes down and then levels off in front of the entrance. We're going to have a similar situation in front of this entrance. However, if you eliminate the stairs completely and hold the grade of the entrance, the pavement under the entrance canopy, we end up with a fairly steep slope between that entrance and then moving roughly 100 feet south to the Commons entrance. And when I say steep, I'm talking about 10% or so. 10% is a little steeper than we want to go for several reasons. Most importantly is we're going to be maneuvering large vehicles through here, and they're not too accommodating of drastic changes of grade of that sort. So right now we're going to proceed, unless we receive additional input or guidance, with the approach that we will retain the steps immediately in front of the canopy. However, by retaining those steps, we still have to maintain ADA access to those entry doors. So what you see in this plan is the provision for new sidewalk pavements immediately north of the entrance canopy that would provide ADA compliant route from the handicap ramp in front of the entrance to the parking lot, up to the north, and then back to the entrance canopy. So you can see that there's kind of a ramp up and then kind of a new sidewalk heading back south. The other issue was the current flagpole which is there. It's in the center of that circular area, and if you look carefully at this drawing, you can see that the flagpole is right at the back of the proposed sidewalk. I went and looked at this flagpole. It's an older pole. It's got some condition issues, and so what we would propose to do is to relocate that flagpole a little bit to the west. You can see at the northern end of the handicapped access ramp, there's a semicircular area with a dot in the middle of it. That dot would essentially represent the location of a new flagpole. So we'd be moving it west about 10 feet. So that is our recommendation. And then finally, the facility identification sign and message board will have to be relocated. It's currently indicated with a solid shaded rectangle, and you can see that it's interfering with the proposed curb at the radius of the entrance there. And so we're proposing to simply relocate that sign due east from its current position about the width of the sign. So we're going to take that sign and just slide it over. It will remain visible as it is now in its current configuration. Again, there's going to be some utilities that are utility fixtures and improvements that are going to have to be dealt with, drainage inlets. There's a couple of post indicator valves, which are those red valves that aren't, they're not hydrants, but they're associated with the fire suppression system. Those will have to be relocated, which also entails relocating the actual valve that's down at the water main level. And then there's going to be some light fixture relocations and possible additions. I'll be working with KJG and their electrical engineer to come up with a proposed lighting plan. We anticipate having final construction documents by your meeting next month for final review. Unless you have some questions or comments, that's...
Okay, I'd like to get a motion to and then we'll come back to questions.
I want to be clear. What are we voting on?
Or motion just to continue the process.
Okay.
And then we'll go.
I'm with you. All right. I got it now.
I will take that as a motion by.
Yes, that's a motion.
Let's need a second, please. Second by Dr. Springer. Let's go to discussion and vote. Go ahead. Questions?
Well, I'm not in love with this. I really don't care for this at all, but I like this. So can we separate these two ideas? Or I feel the safety issue for me is the primary concern, removal of the trees and further reducing kind of the front aesthetic of the building. I just don't feel like it's worth it.
You were the correct
Yeah, I
father
just
of
wanted
this
to make
great
sure
idea.
that we explore, if we're gonna do something with access and parking, we need to explore the options. We only have so much land here, and we don't have enough parking at the school building. I'm just being dead honest with you.
Yeah.
You go there to certain functions, and good luck to you. If somebody
Find a place on the street.
open valet parking, they make a fortune.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
One other thing that I thought after I spoke before that would be an issue here would be this is a major exit for fire drills in the, although there aren't any dimensions here, my guess is, Alan, that the sidewalk out there would be narrower than what it is currently if you put those slots in.
No, we'd maintain the same 8-foot sidewalk width,
Oh,
but it would be
It would
depressed.
be behind the cars instead of.
Yeah, it would be.
Level with the parking lot.
Yeah, it would be level with the sidewalk would be depressed.
If you stand behind a
east
car.
side of the cars?
Yes.
Yes, it stays where it's at. You just pull your car across it, and you got people walking behind you when you're trying to back out.
The horse school does.
Yeah, and I'm with Rachel on that. My concern at first blush is just their safety. I think we can't. I just see people trying to get out of school quickly. I know we all have perfect drivers here at West Lafayette, but that'd be a big concern of mine. I appreciate the look, but that's my concern as well.
And again, this was not part of the original project scope. This was an exercise in opportunities.
Right, and we appreciate that. But that's my view. And how do you feel?
I feel like we can't really put 9 parking spaces next to the building.
Okay. All right.
Can we cut Grant Street and push the sidewalk over? Get the city to do that.
Oh, put some on-street parking there?
Just do
Widen the road?
Go underneath.
Put a parking garage.
anything.
Okay. So, any other questions? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries, and in March Madness terms, you advance to the next round. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We will see you next month
Okay.
with some final documents and some cost estimate numbers too. For
Thank
the
you.
Completed project.
Thank you guys very much. Let's move on to summer school courses and Mr. Sloat.
Okay, we're time of year to look at summer school, and in the past we had only Cumberland, and so we're recommending, kids recommend another program at Cumberland again. Would be love and literacy, library time. We're estimating about 32 students for that section, and then also we have an iRead 3 summer assessment day. And these do qualify, we have to have certain courses to qualify for state reimbursement, so these do fit the guidelines. I don't know if Kim, do you have any more you want to comment on those?
No, I was just here to answer questions if anybody had any.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll go on and talk about the high school a little bit. This is new, what we're looking at the high school. Mr. Schreiner would like to recommend we look at the Indiana Online Academy summer program. I think this is the first year that this online program can be state reimbursed, so which is a good thing. Because we've had a lot of students in the past, if they want to take a summer school at the high school, maybe go to Harrison or another local district, and they got to pay $200-300 for tuition. This would give an opportunity to take classes, and these only would be ones that qualify towards graduation. In the student cost, you can see there's like a $50 technology fee. However, the $225 is reimbursable by the state. So it's really no cost to us, but it is an opportunity for students that may have, like health would be one class a lot of them want to take maybe in the summer rather than take it during the school year. Ron had anticipated we could have maybe up to 100 students want to take online courses. And this is a good opportunity for them. Right now we have students during the school year taking about 56 credits that are through the IU high school, which is another online academy, but they're paying for that themselves. So this would be a good opportunity for students who want to take extra courses in the summer, history, algebra. You know, he just thought there could be good interest. So we can offer it. You know, they don't have to take it, but it's available.
Okay. Need a motion, please. Moved by Mrs. Witt.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marley. Questions or discussion, please?
What is Mr. Schreiner's plan for staffing it if he really has 100 people and he's got to proctor exams during the summer?
Well, if you have, he talked about that with the guidance, they've worked out arrangement, they can do it. And I noticed too that if you look in the agreement, if we have 100 or more, there is reimbursable for those proctoring costs. So he would have to work through guidance. He's talked to Libby about it, you know, because some of them do work some summer hours too. And so that would be the arrangement.
And are they going to charge, and I didn't see that in here, they currently charge a $25 proctor fee per test when kids take them through outside the schools. Is that, or through, like IU High School, if they want to take a test, they charge them $25. Is that, will a similar fee be assessed as part of this? Proctor fees?
We do not plan to, no.
Okay.
No.
This is really a net win for them, I mean, in terms
Right.
of our cost to our
Right.
students.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we would be reimbursed from the state for the 225, no matter how many students participate?
Well, basically, they have, if you have, I know in the other courses, you need, like Kim's courses, we need at least 15 in a section to get reimbursed. So I assume as long as they have at least 15, we get reimbursed. I mean, it's not real specific on what it says here, but that's kind of been the guidelines in the past.
Okay. Other questions? All in favor of moving forward with the summer school courses as outlined, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, thank you, Ross. On that, we'll move now to payment system for lunches and textbooks. Mr. Slope.
Yeah, as you know, we're moving towards Skyward for student software. So we're also going to move to a new provider to process our online payments. We currently use Skipjack, and there's been, I mean, it's worked, but there's been issues. One issue is if a parent has 3 children, you have to get on 3 different times. You know, you can't just bundle it as one shopping cart and do the purchase. It takes multiple transactions. So RevTrack I'm familiar with. I used it before in another district. Skyward recommends them. I mean, there are a couple other providers out there, but this company seems to come to the top to be the most compatible with Skyward. And it'll integrate with Skyward. It'll be able to issue refunds, student withdrawals. It'll be another positive thing. It'll give payments in real time. So if a parent goes on in the middle of the day and they need lunch money, it will hit the account, you know, fairly quickly. Where now anything is like a day later. And parents will be also able to look at their balances, and they can do multiple transactions, whether it's textbook, lunches, and multiple children that they have with one transaction. Cost is 3.49% of the dollars of the transaction. I commented on here how much we've taken in credit cards this past year. It was $523,000. Our cost there was $16,000. We collected $5,600 in fees. What we've done in the past, we don't pass along the full 100% of the fees. We charge $1 per transaction. Well, if a parent had 3 children, went on 3 times, paid $3. I'm proposing, at least to try this out, we still charge $1 per transaction, but it's still going to be cheaper because they can bundle their activity.
Only one transaction.
Only one time. So now it's going to cut down somewhat on our revenue, and I think we're going to have to monitor this for the first year and see, you know, how much our usage is and what our how much we're going to collect in fees. And I know we're going to eat some of the costs, but I think it's worth it in order to give this convenience, and we have a better collection rate now on lunches and textbooks. You know,
which can
by
help
offering, which helps offset. You know, if you have losses, you're going to lose that too. So I think it's a good fit, and so that would be my recommendation. We would go with RevTrack, and also that we would continue the $1 per transaction as a fee to the user.
Okay. All right, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Springer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marley. Questions, please.
Ross, who did we compare RevTrack to? Did we have any other vendors?
I had there's a couple. There's like 3 vendors that they recommend, or Skyward has used. I contacted 2 of them, and one I never got a response back. And the 3rd one called a couple times, and you know, they faded away. So I never, since I was familiar with RevTrack, and I think they're the primary provider for Skyward, that would be my recommendation.
Does Skyward have an exclusive arrangement with RevTrack, or can you use another merchant processor?
You could use another merchant processor. I mean, if we had somebody locally who could do it, I'd be more interested in that, but I'm not, and maybe you know of somebody that have.
Well, there's one vendor that specializes in payments, school payments, public payments, and they work, they've got Tippecanoe, Pioneer, Butler, and Purdue, and it's Heartland. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it might make some sense to get a competitive quote mm-hmm. against this or not. This, to me, this looks high. I used to help sell merchant services, and it looks like we're getting pretty hard. It looks like it's due to small ticket size, to your point.
Right.
3.49.
But then they're going to jack us another 0.5% over what you were getting, because I did the math, and they were only charging you $3 before. Now they're going to charge you $3.49. So what I'm going to suggest is that you get at least another competitive bid just to keep everything honest, and see how that goes. If they don't have any prohibition against using another vendor, some of these guys are captive.
Right.
You know, you use the processor that they're aligned with, and if they're not, I would advocate comparison shopping a little bit.
No, I can check it out. I know Heartland was, when I had Skyward send me the list of vendors, Heartland was not on it. Now that maybe doesn't necessarily mean they don't do it. Maybe they don't know about, or you know, connected with them. But,
it's a big part
of
their business.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a good job at it.
We use them as well.
Just a thought. That's kind of where I'm coming in. Just get another comparison on it.
Yeah. No, I can do that.
Okay, let's do a motion then, or can we amend the motion to include that, or is that meant?
I think we just don't pass it, right?
You could table it.
Table it.
That's what I would suggest.
Let's do that, and we'll go from there. So
Before we table, just can I have
go
a
ahead,
question
please.
for you? I noticed on here, and I'm assuming other providers will be similar, that list things such as athletics or activities fees. Is it anticipated that those things can start moving through Skyward and that payment source as well?
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it's not just, it's music boosters and athletic boosters and all that stuff could also run through that same channel. Great.
Right. And there might be, you know, but I'll know when I check with somebody like Heartland, you know, because they provide, like I mean, I don't know how Heartland does it, not seen their product, but, you know, this offers a lot of those services like you do, kind of a website thing that shows all these different options that you can add and take off. And Heartland, or, you know, some other provider might do the same, but See, we tried that this last year in the fall. We had some other things that was a real nightmare because the skipjack just wasn't compatible with it. And it was a lot of handwork to sort out who bought what, and it just was a real nightmare.
If it worked, it'd be beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
That's
right.
good.
Oh, I know, yeah, yeah.
Rachel, would you agree to rescind your motion and we'll vote to table?
I would like to rescind my motion.
Okay,
Well,
and
actually,
then,
it was, I made the
Dr.
motion.
Springer, I'm sorry. There's only two of you there and I guessed wrong, so, okay, go ahead. So would you, Dr. Springer?
All right, so I'll rescind the
And
motion.
then let's get a motion to table as well, and we'll vote on that.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Witt,
Second.
by Mr. Marley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, we will table that motion. And Ross, if you can look that up for next
Okay.
month, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Let's move on to item 5, which is continuing disclosure agreement.
Yeah, we have 5 outstanding GO bonds, and annually I provide continuing disclosure information to rating agencies and so on as far as financial statements, any change in your financial condition. And Umball, who's our financial advisor we used on the sale of the bonds, has provided this in the past, and I'd like to continue with them at a cost of $2,300 again, and do that for this coming year.
I'll move it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Marley,
Second.
second by Dr. Springer. Discussion, please.
It's a good price for all that work.
Yeah. They can process the lunch payments too. You know.
Vertical integration for it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fine. Other questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. We'll move forward with that. Item 5, move to item 6, renewal of phone and internet services.
Okay, we're at a point where a lot of our agreements for phones, local phone, long distance, fiber, and other internet services, it's time to renew those contracts. Plus, we're looking with the E-rate provider that does our reimbursement. So we took quotes. You can see them listed there.
Right.
And so I'm recommending, like with the fiber, we continue with Wintech. That's who her current provider is now, $1,500 a month. Internet, again, with Wintech. And then both of those contracts, we're looking at, they've offered 5-year terms, which I think, is good to lock in that price. Local phone, Lightbound, and then long distance, Lightbound and Earthlink. Now, I guess we want to stick, we have Lightbound currently, Frontier's 2 cents, just lower. Really, our long distance costs are minimal. I mean, but I'd like to stay with the same provider we have rather than make a change on those. We do get back, we've talked about this before, our E-rate on telephone, we get 20% reimbursement of the annual cost, and that includes your long distance. And then on fiber and internet, we get 40% back. So that's, we participate in that program. Everybody pays phone, that's on your phone bill, so we're all paying it. So that's where that money comes from when we get this rebate back. So I'd like to consider the recommendation of those contracts renewal.
Okay. Motion, please.
So moved.
Dr. Springer. Moved by Dr. Springer, second by Mrs. Witt. Discussion, please. Questions? I mean, I think it's reasonable. Nobody's making all this. It's almost a thing of the past. Not completely on, but certainly it's pretty minor. Other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. We'll move forward with Ross's recommendation. Donation acceptance. We have a donation from track and cross country, or just cross country? I don't remember here.
Thanks for both.
For $1,000 by an anonymous donor. And I'm going to accept it. Would somebody like to move to accept that, please?
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Marley, second by Mrs. Witt. The only discussion we probably need is to say thank you to whoever's out there that's doing that.
Thank you.
And yet, I will say the track and cross country teams are doing about as well as they can do. So it's going to be exciting even in the spring to see how things go. So that's a great thing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. The motion carries. Overnight field trip, we'll move all 3 together. High school going to going on Saturday to social studies, going to Washington, D.C. High school also Model United Nations to IUPUI on the 19th and 20th, and high school robotics to Warren Central on April 2nd through 4th. I think we need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Springer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. That motion carries. So we need trip to D.C. next week. Personnel report, Mr. Slow.
Yeah, go ahead, Rock. You have any comments?
Yeah.
I mean, we have some changes, classified and certified position change, but we
Right.
recommend that approval.
Anything else?
I concur.
Okay.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Witt, second by Dr. Springer. Discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. Move on to accounts payable vouchers. Ross, you're in here.
Yeah, accounts payable, $1,576,822.70. A couple of comments. I know Rachel emailed me on a couple of good questions. Constellation used to be Proliant, so that's all of our gas heat. That's what all the Constellation ones are. And you've seen an extra bus under transportation. So in the winter, we have more riders on the city buses because, you know, they aren't going to walk and not as many drive with cold, so sometimes you have to have a backup bus. So they charge us extra rather than paying for that all year, just as needed. And there's a lot of credits back on student textbooks, and the reason for this is Etta is head of the game before we convert to Skyward. She wants to clean these accounts up. So during the year, you have a lot of students make schedule changes, so maybe they paid for this class, and the class cost so much, and now they change their schedule second semester, so they got credits coming back. So she's, as she knows these credits, she's making all the adjustments, so we don't have as much to roll over into the next new student software.
Okay.
Just Wildcat Creek assessment. You know, you saw we paid tuition for some students. We have a couple of students taking the EMS class at St. Francis Hospital, St. Elizabeth, and that's in conjunction with TSC. Now, the good thing about that class cost us $1,325, but we get $1,250 back in state support for those three credit courses.
Okay.
And we paid our quarterly insurance payment to Hanover, our general fund, transportation, and CPF. Common school law, and I wanted to comment, we spent quite a bit on technology. We had put in, we had $60,000 spent out of one loan and $13,000 out of CPF. That was for 80 workstations at Cumberland at the high school. Insight investments, we spent $37,000. We had, that was laptops for classrooms at the high school.
Okay.
So upgrading some of our technology at this point.
I need a motion to pay our bills.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Marley.
Second.
Second by
Let her have it.
Dr. Springer. Questions? Anything else that I've been asked? Rachel, I appreciate you reaching out in advance. That's great. Anything else, Ross or Brad, or anything else on your end? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the motion carries. We'll move on to information to the board, of which I have nothing additional. Board and superintendent reports around the horn. We do have a sign-in sheet too, for any committee meetings that you've been to, please put those in there. That would be helpful, just as we kind of use that as our scoreboard. One of the things is, as a group, we're working on, and not that our board over the years has been lax, but we really, it is a real focus of our group to make sure we're attending as many meetings as we absolutely positively can, and so that's part of our thrust. But go ahead, anything?
I tried to go to the insurance meeting.
Yes.
The weather had other ideas.
Yes, we got moved on that.
I could have made it.
Yeah.
You would have been here?
Been-
Okay.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was
But ice
skating my way
skates
to
on.
Purdue.
Yeah.
Put ice skates on.
Yeah, we had some calamities in
I
our
actually wore
neighborhood.
cleats to work that day.
It was pretty bad.
A couple of people,
Nice little
employees
leg.
hanging on to me.
The Public Schools Foundation of Tiffany County met last night. I was not able to attend that meeting. These were at your places. Thank you for putting those out, April. Grant cycle is open. I would say there are primary issue facing them right now is a decrease in funding. So they're making that as a priority. They're struggling with donations and are not on track currently. So that's their focus. And then Tom Schott and I both attended the West Lafayette Schools Education Foundation on February the 12th and introduced ourselves and are kind of coming up to speed in that group now. And I am to remind everyone, the events coming up, the Wall of Pride, all board members should have received an invitation and are asked to come if possible. And then also, of course, West Side Story on the 28th.
And the Wall of Pride is on the 26th, right? Okay.
Wall of Pride is on the 26th.
And that is at the West Lafayette Country Club or the Old Elks.
Yeah.
And okay.
What time is that?
6:30 to 8:30.
Okay. Thank
It's
you.
really going to be a neat event. They've put a lot of effort into that, and I think it's really neat. And some amazing people that will be here as well. Okay, anything else? And you're set for tomorrow, and as far as
yes.
if you run into it, let me. Okay, I'm there for you.
Park board with our new superintendent, the board is going to get together and talk about some strategic plan and updates, what we would like to see in the way of new parks, facilities, whatever. So if you have any ideas, just email them to me and I'll pass those along. I was able to attend the visit with Glenda State Superintendent Glenda Ritz when she came, and I was very impressed with our teachers and our staff and our students, and I think Glenda Ritz was too. We looked at a variety of classrooms, and Rachel was with us at Cumberland, and I was very impressed with Glenda Ritz really getting in there, talking to the students, engaging them, and engaging some of the older, well, even at Cumberland.
Literally getting in there.
Questions and answers from the students, and there were some funny questions, and so that I was very pleased with our staff and students.
And Karen, I think it's great that that's represented us well in that situation. I got to see her right as she was leaving, and I asked her I said, how do you keep motivated and how do you keep your energy level? And she goes, I'm that way all the time. So I was impressed in my 6 minutes with her that she's a very high energy person. I know she's taken a few shots here, to say the least, and she keeps moving. So that's very impressive, and I thought that heard a lot of good things about that as well. Anything else for the good? The order here. The communication from the audience, non-agenda items. Anything else?
Alan might comment, or maybe Larry or Lefty could talk about what we're doing there at the football field, starting this spring, trying to take that crown off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're involved with our CPF plan, and part of our CPF plan is updating the athletic field, and so what we're going to try to do is, it's in the CPF plan, is to bring that crown down and even out the football field. And
reseed it and all that kind of stuff, right? So
actually, they're going to be sodding, and then they suggest that after, I forget. The good news is Jamie, the guy, his company that's doing it, spoke with Tim rather than Larry or me, because Tim's the one going to do it. But at some point, he suggests to oversee it with Rye. So he and Tim and Jamie, I don't know, 20 minutes to a half hour probably spent together, and Tim will be with him when they are out there. They're supposed to start, obviously, depending on weather, sometime around the 1st of April. We get a good week that, like the week of March the 30th.
And how long will it take, you think? To do it? The only issue is because of track. I mean, which you can have to deal with track and field meets. They have like 10 meets.
They are aware of that. Lane has said, they can adjust whatever we may have when they have it torn up. We may have the track infield may be on the soccer fields.
Yeah.
In other words, have the kids go over there rather than muck around in the muck.
Okay.
I couldn't get Bob McCullough to come over to supervise them while they were out mucking around.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Can I ask a question about
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Are they going to take care of the drainage, Lefty? Is this field not leveling, but the drainage problem about the 20-yard line on the northwest
Yeah, I mean,
side? You're up to the
You-
ankles in
It
water.
went up, and then it leveled out and even dipped, and then it had Mount Straley.
Yeah,
out
you
in the
can't see the
middle.
receiver on the other side.
Right. The only field that I have ever seen similar to this, in all the years I've been going to West Lafayette football, was before Crawfordsville.
Yeah.
They're relatively recent. Ray Alvey, one of my great West Lafayette memories is Ray outrunning only because he was running downhill and they had to run uphill.
Yeah.
But Ray was the quarterback.
It's like playing on a rough top.
So we probably will never win another football game because our home field advantage is gone.
Yeah.
But
Good.
that-
Well, yeah, I know
the
that's
guy,
a good-
the guy that does this has worked very extensively with the Indians. He's done Colts practice fields. So Brock did a nice job in tracking this guy down, and he's a very impressive young man, and seems to know very much what he's doing. And it's always nice to have Jim Scott across the street on the other side of Cherry Lane over there to come over if anything does go awry before we get it overseated, so to speak.
Jim is the Purdue golf superintendent. He's a West Lafayette graduate, and he's hard pressed to find anybody better in the country doing that kind of stuff. He's really done an amazing job there. Any other questions? Any other discussion? Go ahead, Zach.
Zachary Bale, 124 Connolly Street. Non-agenda items. Just want to open with a quick quote from Thomas Paine. It is error only and not truth that shrinks from inquiry, so we should not be scared of questioning. And with that, I say again from the West Lafayette Community School Corporation strategic plan that accountability is critical to the success of our school corporation. One can safely assume that this accountability is to the local community that creates, sustains, and celebrates this school. Also in the strategic plan, in fact, as a strategic parameter, we state we always make communication a priority. With this, I would encourage the school, this board, to be proactive in its communication. One gesture that would accomplish this would be to release the supplemental information to the board meetings well in advance of the meeting, as other public agencies do in and around Tippecanoe County, so the public can be informed. On other notes, the community is interested in knowing what is currently being discussed regarding the technology director and curriculum coordinator joint position that was discussed previously. A posting has yet to be made on the West Lafayette Schools website as of today. And also I would like to encourage again that those not be a joint position. If anything, they should be separate. And also the community at large would be interested in learning what is the preferred direct way to communicate with their at-large elected representatives who sit on this public school board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, future meetings. WLA discussion tomorrow. Foundation also tomorrow. Spring break is the 16th to the 20th. We've just discussed Wall of Pride on the 26th, West Side Story on the 28th. March 31st, April 1st is trip to Harvard. Rocky will be heading to Harvard for Rise Above the Mark, showing of that. And then our next board meeting will be scheduled for Wednesday, April the 8th, 6:30 p.m. at Central Office. Anything else on that end? Need a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Marley. Second.
Second.
By Mrs. Witt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. The motion, or the meeting is adjourned at 7:28 p.m. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And we will adjourn to executive session in 2 or 3 minutes, or however long it takes.
Get something to drink? You want something to eat?